Welcome to the Miskatonic Playhouse NaNoWriMo Week 4 with myself and the amazing Heinrich Moore. We're here for the final installment in what has been a month-long program of bringing together a group of writers in order to try and complete their various projects. Each week we published a video. This is the final one where we're going to talk a little bit about wrapping up and finishing. So let's start just by checking on where our projects are. Heinrich, how's your project going?
Well, I came into the month with sort of two projects. One, finish up the Carcosa Guide, which is launching November 30th with a Twitch stream on the Symphony channel, hosted by Bridget Jeffries. We're going to have Bucho, one of the regular contributors of that Twitch channel. So it's going to be a lovely time. Very excited about it. But that was a lot of the hard work had been done already. So my other project was to brainstorm what my next project is going to be. And I walked into the month with no projects, and now I've got three solid ideas as to what my next project might be. Doesn't mean it will be one of them, but it's given me a lead, right? And now I can
Nice.
continue my investigations. But what about you? You've had sort of an up and down journey this month.
I have. So I started very, very well. Some would say obsessed, and then unfortunately got quite ill, had a lot on in the middle of the month, and so the pace of work dropped off. But I'm feeling good. I got a bit more done this week. I'm feeling like the deadline that I set, which is to have the first draft ready by the end of month, is doable, and I'm excited to get there. In fact, I read. I'm streaming this evening for the Playhouse. And so I was doing my final read through of another scenario, and it was really nice to read through another scenario. I read through Swamp Song, see how he'd formatted it, and the formatting specifically in Swamp Song is excellent. And you only really notice how well it's written until you go through it to run it, because basically there's a section which tells you quickly what happened, and then what it does is it gives you the investigator experience. It's just very well done. And so it really inspired me to finish my scenario and use that sort of style as well. And that's a really important thing, is keep getting inspired. And I was really inspired by watching another scenario and reading another scenario to then work on my own and try and take what I learned and apply it. So I'm in a really good place. I'm looking forward to finishing off my scenario and getting it out to some people to read and give feedback on.
That's fantastic, and I'll just echo that I think Swamp Song is excellent. Do
You did the editing, didn't
entirely.
you?
I did the editing. Yes, I couldn't tell if you were like doing a setup there, but very kind words. But no, it was all the author's work. He deserves all the credit. He is excellent, and it's a really great scenario.
Brilliant. And I suppose we're talking about artificial deadlines and wrapping up. So wherever you are, if you have been using NaNoWriMo, your deadline is in a few days. So no matter where we are in the process, that's true. So what should people be thinking about when they get to this point in the month, Heinrich?
Well, I think a couple of watchwords I think that have pervaded our conversations on this have been perception and intentionality, right? So I think it's true that wherever you are in your process this month, whether you are ahead of schedule, whether you are behind schedule, whether you haven't started, if you adopt the right perspective, you can still get some useful mileage out of NaNoWriMo. There are, I think, folks who are right now waking up to the fact that other people have been using this month all month long to do writing and think, what a wasted opportunity. I'll do it next year, surely. And that's great. Absolutely do it next year. But also, get started now. There's nothing wrong with using these last 5 days as a personal sprint to try and get something done. This is all made up. And so we get to create these deadlines, and they are useful to the extent they help motivate us. So if you can get yourself in the headspace that makes the most of these last 5 days, you are succeeding as far as I'm concerned. What do you think?
Yeah, I really like that way of thinking, although I think I tend to put the same discussion into one about habit, which is that what makes us create things isn't necessarily the sprints or the 3 hours rushed in. What makes us write is building good habits. So maybe it's that on Saturday afternoons you sit down and write, and that's just what you do on Saturday afternoons. Or maybe it's that you get up early and write. whatever habits have worked for you or what you want to build into your life, you just need to make sure they're sustainable. Unlike the sprint of NaNoWriMo, if you want to be writing regularly, you need to be finding the times to do that. For me, I find two things work. One is getting up incredibly early when I can and writing for 90 minutes before my day really starts. And the other one is wandering down to my local gaming shop and sitting for 90 minutes, 2 hours, and getting some writing done because it breaks up my day. And that's really pleasant and a good way to get it done. But other people have other things. Maybe it's the evening, maybe it's with a glass of wine, whatever it is for each individual. These experiences of trying and pushing helps us build the habits. And I think it's the habits which helps us produce solidly for long periods of time.
And right now, you might be thinking to yourself, oh crap, I have developed none of those habits this month. It has been a complete failure, which, once again, if you have the right perspective, then you can get something of value out of this. I think if you think that you have failed this month, right? If you walked in hoping to develop these habits of continually writing, going to the coffee shop, going to the game store, sitting there for 2 hours, and just cranking out some text. If that didn't work, that's useful information, right? What did not work for you this month should inform how you do your work going forwards. And certainly, if what you tried didn't work and you're hoping to do this again next year, try something different, right? You know it didn't work
Yeah.
this last time around. Unless your life substantially changes, there's no reason to think it will work out again if all month long you've tried and just haven't, made progress in the way you had hoped.
Yeah. Which comes back to the fact that maybe figure out why it didn't work. Were you not motivated? Did you not have enough time? If you didn't have enough time, don't pretend you'll have enough time in the future. Something in your life needs to change, or maybe you can't do this and you need to try doing something else. Figure out what works and then try and make it happen. So for me, I really like writing early. If I'm working late, so I often work till 9:30 at night, I can't do it. It doesn't work. But so figure out how your schedule works and apply it in a way that works for you. I think that's a really core concept because there are some people who have said, "Oh, I've really just not achieved anything this month." Well, that's going to continue. So, and it could be that's fine. I'm just not going to create. But if you want to create, what changes do you need to make? What sacrifices do you need to make? And are you willing to do it? Because you don't have to.
Yeah, and I think that feeds into this idea of intentionality and really thinking about what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you're going about doing it. And what you mentioned just now in terms of sacrifice, yeah, I think for some folks it's a bit of a bleak prospect to think, what am I going to sacrifice so I can do this instead? But and this is a much broader topic, but for most of us, we've figured out how to use most of our available time to do stuff,
Yeah.
right? A lot of us do not have free time because if we had free time, we've found ways that we enjoy spending it. But so if you're going to take on a project like NaNoWriMo, at least for a month, part of the conversation has to be, what are you going to not do so that you can
Mhm.
do this? And that's tough. We like to think that we can just create time if we just work harder, work smarter, and that's sometimes true to an extent, but ultimately, yeah, you have to prioritize, and some other things have to fall by the wayside for a little while.
All right. Heinrich, thank you so much for going on this journey with me and doing these little chats and really pushing people to create. It was wonderful spending some time with you. And I really like how we've wrapped up on creating habits and talking about the process of writing. I think that's a really great place for us to finish. Any last words from you, or will all of our viewers see you on the 30th for the Twitch stream on Sympathy Entertainment?
Yes, five days from now, please tune in. It would mean the world to me to see folks supporting the launch of this project. And thank you, John, for suggesting this. It has been an awesome journey and also something new for us. Right, this was the
Yeah.
first time that we tried this format, and I think we both learned a lot out of it. So in that sense as well, this month has been a success for us.
Yeah. And we got to hang out, which we've never really done before. So that's nice too. Brilliant. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you somewhere else.